Eagles Nation, the storm is here. The final preseason game is upon us, and every single snap could decide careers. Players are fighting for their NFL lives, and Tuesday will be brutal. 90 players must shrink down to just 53. Dreams will be made and others shattered. So the question is, who survives and who gets left behind? Now let's dive in. The Philadelphia Eagles are gearing up for their preseason finale against the New York Jets, and this game means everything for the guys on the edge of the roster. Tuesday's deadline is coming fast, when every NFL team, not just the Eagles, will be forced to cut nearly half their roster. Imagine the pressure. One mistake could end a player's shot at the NFL. One highlight play could save their job. So let's break it down position by position. Who's locked in and who's fighting for their football life. Quarterback room. No surprises at the very top. Jalen Hurts is the leader, the franchise QB1. That's not even up for debate. Behind him, Tanner McKee has shown enough to lock up the QB2 spot. But beyond that, things get tricky. Kyle McCord, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and anyone else battling for QB3 are not safe. The Eagles could decide to keep just two quarterbacks on the 53-man roster and stash another one on the practice squad. Depth elsewhere is too valuable. Running backs. At RB1, it's Saquon Barkley, the workhorse, the superstar, the engine of this offense. Right behind him is rookie Will Shipley, who has looked sharp and explosive enough to earn his RB2 role. But here's where it gets painful. A.J. Dillon. A lot of fans can't imagine the Eagles letting him go, but the truth is, roster gymnastics matter. If the team needs extra depth at another position, Dillon could be cut and later brought back to the practice squad since he doesn't need to pass through waivers. It's a tough reality, but that's how this roster puzzle works. Wide receivers. This group is loaded. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith? Absolute locks, two of the best in the league. Add in Jahan Dotson and John Mechie, who the Eagles just traded for. There's no chance they gave up assets just to let him go. That's four wide receivers locked in. Every catch in this Jets game matters for the rest of the group because spots are vanishing fast. Tight ends? The Eagles made it clear by trading away Harrison Bryant. The plan is to roll with just two tight ends on the initial roster. Dallas Goedert, the star, and Grant Calcaterra, the reliable number 2. The team can always pull another tight end up from the practice squad for game day. That's the strategy we've seen before, and it makes sense again here. Offensive line. This is the backbone of the team. Jordan Mailata at left tackle, Landon Dickerson at left guard, Cam Jurgens at center, Tyler Steen at right guard, and Lane Johnson holding down right tackle. Those are your starters. But depth matters here more than anywhere. Drew Kendall, the rookie 6th rounder, looks locked in as a backup center, especially since Jurgens is coming off back surgery. Matt Pryor is another clear lock because of his versatility, guard or tackle, he can play it all. That gives the Eagles 7 clear roster locks on the O-line. And now, with those spots secure, we turn to the drama, the bubble players. These are the guys with everything to lose when the Jets game kicks off. Eagles fans, I need your take. If it comes down to A.J. Dillon or depth at another position, what would you do? Keep the power back or sacrifice him to stack another spot? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to see where this fan base stands. Now, let's talk about the battlefield, the roster bubble. This is where the fight gets real and where the smallest details can change a career. Quarterback drama. All eyes are on QB3. Kyle McCord and Dorian Thompson-Robinson are locked in a duel. But the reality is only one may survive. McCord has been running as QB2 this week with Tanner McKee sidelined by a finger injury, which tells us the coaches trust him more than DTR. Still, that doesn't guarantee safety. Even if McCord outperforms in this Jets game, the Eagles could take a risk, cutting him, hoping he clears waivers, and stashing him on the practice squad. Imagine that gamble. One wrong move, and another team scoops him up. Meanwhile, DTR? Honestly, he hasn't impressed at all. Unless something miraculous happens Friday night, his chances are slim. Running back battle. Then there's A.J. Dillon. He's powerful, he's proven, but he's not safe. The Eagles gave him carries against Cincinnati to see if he still had the burst, and he looked solid. Against Cleveland, he barely got touches. The big question isn't if he can play, it's what role he'll have. Starter? Backup? Or a risky practice squad stash? His name is one of the biggest wild cards heading into cut day. Wide receiver chaos. This is where things get spicy. Darius Cooper is forcing the Eagles to notice him. He's been running with the first team offense, catching passes from Jalen Hurts, making plays in practice, and even earning snaps on special teams as a returner. When a young guy does all that, the team is sending a message. We believe in this kid. Right now, he looks more like WR3 than just another bubble player. But there's a logjam. After the John Mechie trade, it feels like the numbers don't add up. Someone's getting cut. Cooper, Anaya Smith, Johnny Wilson, one of them could be gone. Wilson's injury on Tuesday, when he had to be carted off, might push him onto the PUP list. That's where Howie Roseman could get creative again with his famous roster Tetris. As for Terrace Marshall and Elijah Cooks, let's be real, they're already out. Their names aren't even in this conversation anymore. Tight ends. Kylan Granson is clawing for the T3 spot, but right now E.J. Jenkins has the edge. Every snap matters for these two, but the gap is obvious. Offensive line depth. Here's where things get really complicated. Brett Toth has shown he can play both center and guard, but playing late into preseason games is usually a red flag. That means coaches are still testing him, not trusting him yet. Cameron Williams, the rookie sixth rounder, has potential, but he's far from a lock. Same with Miles Hinton, who has struggled. Then you've got versatile guys like Kendall Lamb and Trevor Keegan who can shift across the line, versatility that the Eagles love. But the most fascinating name? Chandreka Powell. The Eagles are hiding him. They're keeping his tape limited because they don't want other teams noticing. That usually means the front office knows they've got something special, and they're protecting him. If you're looking for a sleeper to make this team, it's him. Eagles fans, here's the big question. If it comes down to A.J. Dillon or Darius Cooper, who do you protect? Do you keep the power back or the rising wideout? Drop your answer in the comments, because this decision could shape the offense. Now let's flip the script to the defensive side of the ball and buckle up, because this unit is looking absolutely stacked. Defensive line locks. Up front in the trenches, the Eagles have some monsters. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Ojomo, Ty Robinson, and now Gabe Hall, all locked in. Hall, the undrafted rookie from Baylor, has been one of the surprises of camp. Quick, explosive, slippery through gaps, he's the kind of player who can wreck a play before it even begins. After the Thomas Booker trade, Hall's spot feels safe, and that's a big win for the rookie. Pass rush firepower. On the edge, it's pure speed and chaos. Nolan Smith, Jalex Hunt, Josh Uche, and Azeez Oyulari are locked as outside linebackers, giving the Eagles a terrifying rotation of pass rushers. When you line these guys up, it feels like quarterbacks won't have a single second to breathe. Linebacker depth. Now here's where it gets interesting, the off-ball linebacker group. And I've got to say it. This is the deepest the Eagles have looked at this position in years, maybe even decades. For so long, Howie Roseman undervalued linebackers. Not anymore. Now we're talking Zach Bond, Jihad Campbell, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and Smail Mondin. That's a legit crew. The only question, who lines up next to Bond in Week 1 against Dallas? Campbell? Trotter Jr., that battle is fierce, and it matters because the Cowboys' run game will test them right away. Secondary strength. At corner, the youth movement is real. Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jacorian Bennett, and Mekhi Williams are the names you need to know. Mitchell and DeJean aren't just good, they look like the future. Fast, physical, fearless, these guys could grow into one of the most dangerous corner duos in the NFL if they keep developing. Eagles Nation, here's the question. Who do you trust more as the second starting linebacker next to Zach Bond, Jihad Campbell, or Jeremiah Trotter Jr.? Drop your answer in the comments, because that battle could decide how strong this defense really is against Dallas in Week 1. The drama in Philly's defense doesn't stop at the front seven, it explodes in the secondary. And this is where the roster decisions get really tough. Cornerback decisions. The Eagles traded for Ja'Cory Bennett, and let's be honest, he's staying. After Quinyon Mitchell, Bennett might be the most naturally gifted outside corner on this roster. Then there's rookie Mekhi Williams, a fourth-round pick. He's been getting exclusive snaps on the outside, and against Cleveland, he flashed real potential. Safety locks. At safety, the locks are clear: Reed Blankenship, Andrew Mukuba, and Sidney Brown. No debates there. That's your trio, and they look ready to go. The bubble battles, defensive line and edge. Here's where things get tricky. The bubble players in the trenches: Byron Young, Jacob Sykes, Patrick Johnson, Abu Okoranwu, and rookie Antoine Powell-Ryland. The standout? Patrick Johnson. Every preseason, this guy shows up, and this year, he's been everywhere. A near pick six, a huge sack that got called back, sniffing out trick plays, he's been flying all over the field. Honestly, he's played well enough to deserve a spot. The only problem? The Eagles spent a draft pick on Powell-Ryland, and sometimes politics wins over performance. That's the tension. The cornerback controversy. Now for the biggest storyline, the corners on the bubble: Eli Ricks, Kelly Ringo, and Adoree Jackson. Kelly Ringo, quad injury, snaps going down, and let's be real, he got cooked by Jamar Chase in the preseason opener. That raised some serious red flags. Adoree Jackson, he hasn't exactly played lights out, but he's been given plenty of snaps because no one else has claimed that CB2 spot. Eli Ricks, long, athletic, a ton of upside. He looks like a guy who should make the team, but nothing is guaranteed. It wouldn't shock me if the Eagles keep all three. It also wouldn't shock me if one gets cut or even traded. That's how unstable this battle is right now. Surprise names? Don't overlook Andre Sam. He's outperformed Tristan McCollum at safety and could slide in as the fourth option there. And then there's Brandon Johnson, the undrafted rookie out of Oregon. He's been solid as a backup slot, but the Eagles might cut him and stash him on the practice squad. Bottom line, the cornerback room is chaos. The talent is there, but the injuries, inconsistency, and roster math make it one of the biggest storylines heading into cutdown day. Who do you trust more as CB2, Adoree Jackson, Kelly Ringo, or Eli Ricks? Drop your answer in the comments, because the Eagles' secondary could live or die based on that decision. The Eagles' roster battle is about to get messy. The secondary is already thin, and Philadelphia has two options: swing a trade or stalk the waiver wire like a hawk. Across the league, plenty of corner-heavy teams are going to cut talent loose, and that's where Howie Roseman thrives, finding hidden gems that others overlook. Take Tarek Castro-Fields, for example. A former Penn State standout, drafted late by the 49ers, bounced to Washington, and in one preseason game against Cincinnati, 3 targets, 3 pass breakups. The kid was everywhere. But now he's hurt, and that creates a brutal decision. Do the Eagles stash him, cut him with an injury settlement, or gamble on his recovery? This is what roster gymnastics really looks like: hard choices, tough cuts, and risks you hope don't come back to haunt you. And it's not just corners. Special teams is quietly another headache. Avery Williams was brought in as a return man, but is he really safe? Guys like Cooper DeJean and Aeneas Smith can field punts too, and they offer more value on offense or defense. Williams is good, but if his only path is special teams, Does he deserve a 53-man roster spot over someone who can contribute in multiple ways? Then there's Ben Van Sumeren, the fullback. Jeffrey Lurie himself said he wants to bring that position back in Philly, but can the Eagles afford the luxury? Cut him and try to sneak him to the practice squad? Or keep him and risk losing depth at another stacked position? This is what makes the Eagles roster in 2025 so fascinating. They're loaded with talent, and that means some very good football players are going to be left behind. Howie Roseman is about to play roster Tetris, and every single move could swing the balance of the season. Eagles fans, let's be real, who would you cut? Who deserves that final 53 spot? Drop your thoughts, because this is where the season begins. In the tough choices.